Kirk Duckwell here with Mastermind, the market, your real estate stats update for the Twin Cities area. Well, let's talk about past peak tactics for home buyers and sellers. What do I mean by that? Well, first, let's dive into the data and take a look. All right, looking at the showings per week per listing, median sale price range 250 500K, average number of showings that's happening. Yeah, we're dropping 7.49 down to a 7.2. We've actually been tracking ahead of last year now for 3 weeks running in the 5 and 4% range. Still, total number of showings are down over last year, 4954 to 4250. Wouldn't be surprised if that starts to equalize shortly, though. All right, when we look at the market meter and how the showings per listing is affecting that, we can see it's falling. We were at a 10.16. That was our peak. Now we're down to a 9.85. So where does that put us on the market meter scale? That is in the strong sellers market range. So we were in extreme sellers market range, and now we're in a strong sellers market range. But this is moving down at a decent pace, not quite as fast as last year, but I wouldn't be surprised if that starts to pick up and move down quicker. So how do you, as a home buyer or seller, work with a market that's moving down? Well, as a seller, the last thing you want to do is now reach for peak price, because if you do, you more than likely are going to end up chasing that market downwards, trying to catch up because you overpriced it, hoping that the market would go up to you. It's much better to look at where homes that sold in the last month listed at and list in that range versus where they sold at. So that way the market looks at you, says, hey, this home seems decently priced for the market conditions. You get a lot more activity and hopefully get that multiple offer scenario driving your price back up into that higher range. Whereas earlier in the market this year, you could reach a little bit and let the market run into you. We know that statistically that a home that overprices and ends up sitting on the market having to do a price reduction could end up selling for between 4 and 7% less than the homes that price correctly out of the gate. Okay, now for buyers, I just mentioned that homes that overprice, this is a tactic to look for. Watch out for those ones that do overprice, that make it past the first weekend on the market, keeping an eye out. That said, activity is slowing down. It's going to slow down a lot more in the next 30 days. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But instead of just waiting for the Monday houses now, start getting into the listings a little bit earlier because they're not going to have as much traffic and they may just accept an offer out of the gate. The houses I'm really loving right now are those listings that are listing Monday, Tuesday, sometimes even Wednesday timeframe, because they get on average about 40% less showings in homes that list on a Thursday or Friday or possibly even Saturday. So keep an eye out for those possibilities as well. Get in a little bit earlier, take advantage of those little swings in the marketplace. All right, let's take a look at some other data points in the market that are happening right now. Looking at new listing activity. Yeah, dropping off a little bit week over week. Not a surprise. We can see last year at the same time, same week, listings fell back. Pending sales on the rise. Inventory of homes, though, tightening up. This is one concerning point I have out there for buyers right now. However, months supply is actually up at 1.6 right now. And so it is definitely a better marketplace just because of a lower amount of buyers in the market than we were at last year. So even though inventory is really close, it's not quite as competitive out there. Another notable data point I wanted to bring up is if we look at month over month home sale prices, we're virtually flat over exactly the same time last year. We can see 370 here, April 2023, 371, 993 looking back last year. Now, that's the first time this has happened in a while. However, this isn't a great gauge to go, oh yeah, home prices are dropping. What we really look at though is rolling 12-month overall. And we can see, yeah, again, not a lot of movement up, more flat, but still looking at appreciation rates only at 4.3%. That said, that's a lot more normal. 4 to 5% is what we expect. So it'll be really interesting to see where home prices go over the summer months on that 12-month rolling. But we're definitely not going to see years like we saw in 21 and 22. All right, looking at interest rates, we can see rates just really like the EKG machine bouncing up and down. Mortgage News Daily saying 6.8. Our resident mortgage geek, Chad Preby over at Bell Bank, he's quoting a 30 at 6.625, 15-year at 6.125, and for those who qualify for the Home Ready Home Possible programs, that's at a 6.5 interest rate. All right, so where does it look like our market is going to be going? I'm going to kind of go back to this weekly chart here. You know, I really think that we are probably going to see a stable market range right around 4th of July. So it's going to be a very, very noticeable difference to buyers that have been out there currently and how they're going to experience the market if they're still in the market in 30 days, just because of how much slower things are going to be. And that's normal this time of year. For sellers, again, make sure you're pricing correctly, have really good marketing. You don't want to skimp on that when there's not as many buyers or more listings that the buyers are spread out between. You want to make sure yours is the one that's attractive. And for buyers, you know, look for those opportunities. This window is going to be opening up for you over the next few weeks. Now, we do have a home buyer class coming up. Just like you want to plan for retirement, you want to plan to buy a house. So I'm going to put a link below for that. It's a free class, Hack Home Buying. We always get great reviews, good turnout to it. Come check it out. It's going to be on the 23rd, Tuesday at Crooked Pint. As always, any questions, please feel free to reach out. Hopefully you found this valuable. Have a great week.